Hello and welcome to episode 208 of the Veeam Community Recap. That is a very big number. And guess what? El Ricachon and Las Madalinas are in normal circumstances. I just made up a nickname again for you, Madi.
Thank you.
Back at home, how are you doing today?
Yeah, first of all, good day, Rick, and good day, community. And yeah, I'm doing well. Yes, normal circumstances. I think for me, it's the second week in a row. So that's good. Getting everything ready for Veeam on. It's just the last 3 weeks, I think, more or
Yeah,
less,
don't
being
stress me.
sorted. So I think it's gonna be fantastic. We talked about it last week. We have some things coming up. I think everyone is exciting. All our Veeam 100 members that are present there are super excited about it. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Don't get stressed. Don't get.
I'm going to spin the good. And just today, we activated some extra Veeam 100 experiences at VeeamOn. So, uh, really happy to feature some of that expertise as well. So, stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm not in Seattle this week. So, that's great.
For a
Even though
change.
I had a great, I mean, it was work, what I had to do. Long story. It's one of the big analyst reports. Myself, my boss, and the team that were providing the response for it. It's really a lot of work. And I would get into the building at 5 a.m. Seattle time, and I would leave at 8 p.m. Not because I was done, because at 9 o'clock the bar next door closed, and I wanted to, just call it and get a beer and go to bed. So it was some hard work, but back at semi-normal here this week, and starting to look like spring here. I don't know if that's the case for you.
Yeah, totally. But it's kind of moody weather, to be honest. Yesterday it was sunny and warm, and today is a bit gloomy in here. Not cold, but just gloomy. So
Mm.
I don't know. Let's see
Yeah,
how it
we'll see.
goes.
It will happen. Spring will come. I'm convinced on that. But let's go take a look at the community. So Maddie's curated a great list of stuff, and that is not the first thing to start on, but this one is. Let's start with a post from Scott, archiving data for long term. I have a bunch of comments on this one, but what caught your eye, Maddie?
A really good one. Really liked it when I read it. So he's migrating several hundred terabytes of data. He's not, joking. When Scott is doing some migrations, he's not joking in there. And he noticed he has duplicate data and a very unorganized structure. So he decided to put a list for all of us with few tips and tricks when archiving your data for the long term to avoid issues in the process. So thank you for that, Scott. And here he goes. He has here a good list, and he starts with implement proper naming conventions. And I would say this is an important advice, as it can get very messy and take a lot of time if you have huge amounts of data. But just name your files in general is always a great advice, because even for me, sometimes, I just look for information, look for some documents, and I'm just like, if I don't name it correctly, I'm just lost in it. So always a great advice, no matter what. And then he talks about use compression to optimize storage and performance. And this is a good one in here. Evaluate your data structure and determine logical points to apply compression. I guess not everything has to be compressed after all, right? Then he says, plan for long-term storage cost and growth. And I like this part that he says storage needs often grew exponentially. So early planning can help mitigate unexpected costs. So that's very true in here. Avoid over archiving. Agreed on that, because maybe just use that for old files that you don't use that often anymore. And then plan for data retrieval and exit strategies. And I think this is very important as well, because cloud providers often make it easy to upload your data, but then it gets tricky retrieving large amounts of data, and that can be super costly. So have a good strategy in place for that. Then test restore processes regularly. that speaks for itself, right? You always want to have that data ready to be used and clean and reliable as it can get. Organize data for efficient access. Of course, you want that. And at the end, he has a really good point. I really like that one, Scott. A well-structured archive not only makes restores more efficient, but also improve long-term data governance. So that's really great stuff in there. Thank you for putting together all that information, Scott.
Yes, and a lot of people don't know this, but Scott manages, as far as we know, he has one of the largest single systems that are backed up by Veeam. Okay,
Yeah.
so massive, massive. We don't have like very deep telemetry into those types of things, so it's a lot of just kind of hearsay and what support sees and stuff. But he has one of the largest single systems we know of that is protected by Veeam. And this is really, really good advice here. So I'd go so far as to say a lot of times we don't know what we have in terms of data. So, and I'd also say, get talking about it. If you're really interested in like more advice, Scott and others in the community will share here, because when it comes to like file data, unstructured data, my favorite is the naming convention. I know any of us who have been server admins and things like that, a self-describing nomenclature is a beautiful thing, and file structures and files could also help on that. But thank you, Scott, for sharing a little bit of really good insight to what you're doing there. All right. If I remember right, Marcus is up with the as-built report. Did I get that right, Madi?
You did, Rick.
All right, cool. And tell us what caught your eye on this one.
So in this one, Marcus is showing us how to put Jonathan's AsBuiltReport.VBR at work. He recently used the package again in a productive infrastructure. So again, says that he used it in multiple times, which is great. It means that this is very useful. I think Jonathan actually started working on this project in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even longer time than that. I found some forums posts in there, pretty old. So I think it was just the beginning of the project. So that's pretty cool. It improved a lot since it was started. And for the ones that still haven't used it, there are some links throughout this post that Marcus is sharing. One of them is the GitHub, Jonathan's GitHub, where he puts all the information since the beginning of this project, and then the whole documentation. I think it's a big document in there where you can find the package and use it yourself if you just want to try it. I saw some good comments on Marcus' post from Lucas and few others, and it seems like it really facilitates a lot your work when working with customer. But let's see what Marcus tested in here. He goes through configuration first, then the first report is created. The generated file as build report, VBR.json lists all the default options that are recorded in the report and can be used to adjust the level of detail or other options accordingly apart from the standard report, which is great. So you have some flexibility as well. Then to obtain details about the backup server itself, it is necessary that the WinRM service has been started. By calling the command listed by Marcus somewhere there, you can get the report sent by email as well, which is pretty neat. And then in order not to transmit the user's password in plain text when the script is called, we can also use the convert to secure string command. So that's fantastic as well. Now you can also receive the report regularly if you want, and to record any changes if you use the options of automating the whole thing via task planning. And in the end, he's sharing some print screens of how the report would look like. And I think that's fantastic. I mean, it's a really great tool for everyone to use. And yeah, as I said, just go. There are some links there. Just go and check it out yourself if you haven't used the tool. I'm pretty sure it can help a lot with your work. So yeah. Thank you.
This is fantastic. I mean, this is a super detailed step-by-step, and this is an actual deployment. So you'll see a lot of times like Some of the things are intentionally not very big, and some stuff is blurred out to protect the actual deployment. But Mark, it's a great write up of the work from Jonathan, and I'm like, whoa, was it all the way from recap number 4? Oh, not our recap number 4, but his
No, it's not
recap number
our
4. I was going to say, you're keeping score better than me. But anyways, rock on. This is good stuff. And, this is the type of thing that when you deploy something, when you're done, document what you've got to really help you understand maybe how to change, or if something changed around you. So it's really helpful. Or if you're in the delivery side, this is a great set of resources to give your customers. So thank you so much, Marcus.
Totally.
All right, next up, Sean, talking about the big update from last week. And, just a note, I did put in last week's recap. I put it in the post because we had recorded earlier before it came out. Just a note to everybody about KB 4696. Please install it if you have not already for B&R. But Sean takes a moment here and walks us through this pretty good post about what's in this update. So I thought this was a great overview, Madi.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on top of the security patches that you just mentioned and the link that you shared to the KBs, there are new features and enhancements, and those are like platform support and Microsoft Entra ID backup, for instance, conditional access policy protections, license consumption, logic update. And then there are some updates when it comes to Nutanix HV and Proxmox VE. And then you also have VMware vSphere enhancements, malware detection and internet proxy support, object storage enhancements, secondary storage integrations, enhanced security and backup performance configuration, database security, email notification, Veeam Vault V2 upgrade, fantastic for the ones that already use it. And then he also shares how to update the version 12.3.1 from version 12.3.0.310. Use the Veeam Backup and Replication, all that number .iso file. I'm not going to say it all. But for new deployments or upgrades from earlier versions, and he puts all the versions in the brackets, you have to actually download the ISO 12.3.1. From the Veeam website as well. I'm not sure he shared it in here, but yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone knows the Veeam website. At least they should. So yeah, a lot of great stuff in here. I mean, fantastic. And thank you for doing this overview, Sean. I think it's very helpful for everyone.
Yeah, it is super helpful. And, for the people out there using the products, the upgrades, are necessary to not just stay up to date with updates, but also roll in the new capabilities. If you think about how big this platform is, it's just really important to keep current. So thank you, Sean, for writing up these additional things. And it's a reminder, I got to update our lab today, now that I think about it. So got to get in there. Takes only about 20 minutes. I'll let everybody know next week how long it took. Next up is many topics here in one from Mohammed, the Vanguard based in Egypt. He's talking about some best practices and Kasten hands-on lab. So, combining a lot of things here, but that best practice guide, those are super helpful stuff. And hands-on labs are always in season. So I think this is a cool set of resources.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think this is the second or third time when we are calling Mohammed in the VBS. He seems to be very active on his blog, so that's great. And he's sharing great stuff with us. So thank you, Mohammed, for that. So yeah, as you said, he's sharing VBR best practices. And here is the page. That's great. I think he forgot to actually share the link in his blog post. So he might just want to add it there as well. But no worries. We are going to share the link in our post. And the best practice guide is basically intended for professionals in search of answers and suggestions to different topics. It may be a design idea, the best way to use a given feature, pitfalls to avoid, and so on. And this information has been developed and collected, updated by the team of Veeam solutions architects working in the field together with Veeam users. So a lot of great stuff in there. It's not a theory, but it's just practice. So this is fantastic. I definitely advise everyone to check it out. As I said, we're going to share the link in there. And then the Kasten hands-on labs, that's pretty cool tool. You can just test in there the Veeam Kasten and Red Hat OpenShift container platform, or Veeam Kasten for Kubernetes data protection with Veeam Kasten. And last but not least, you can do a complete Kubernetes application mobility with Veeam Kasten. So pretty cool stuff in there. So let us know, or just share with us. If you try it, I think that would be fantastic to have like a post at the community hub, and share it with us, the results, or how it goes. What's your experience with it? I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, big thanks, Mohammed. Archtonic.net is his personal blog. And I mean, look at that. Former nuclear engineer, university lecturer, digital transformation, all this great stuff. Friends, this individual, he is very sharp. So thank you, Mohammed. And we'll make sure we put in a link for the best practices guide.
Totally.
All right, 3 special department things to bring up. I just want to also show a new KB 4726. For those using the agent, really basically most recent versions of the agent, there's been an issue identified with the latest version of Windows Update that, just the recovery media won't function as expected. So I would recommend that if you've done this update, the Veeam recovery media initially made should work, but stay tuned for more. So my thought here is, if you have an older version of Windows, in this case Windows 11 in particular, you can have a base Windows recovery media before this update of that. Then the recovery media will work. Stay tuned for this. This KB will probably get updated as we go, but I just saw this one come up and I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. All right, we got one upcoming online event, and meet the author, meet the super member, meet the person who spends more time on the community hub than Madalena and I. We've got a special event coming up next week. Yeah, true is right.
I think this is going to be basically a VUG USA event.
Let's feature a guy from Canada. Great.
Yeah, basically Chris is a guest of 2 of our VUG leaders in the US, which is Al and Nico. We all know that Chris is also a VUG Canada leader, so it's going to be an interesting combination. But in this one, I believe they're going to just talk about Chris's book. If everyone knows, Chris wrote a few books. Was it 1 or I think
2 or more, actually? Yeah, he's written a number of books.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be interesting. So let's all tune in and listen to. I think it's going to just be an overview. It's going to be about the books that he wrote. So let's all see.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. I might be able to even make that one. No commitment yet, but we'll try. But Al, Nico, thank you. Chris as well, thank you. It takes a lot of work to write a book, and I had the pleasure with Chris to do the tech review of his writings, and I've done that a number of times for people who've written Veeam books. And by no means am I trying to change their narrative. I want to just make sure the accuracy is right, and if any omitted use cases are there, maybe bring those up. That's my role, right? And then other people, like in the book part, are doing the English and stuff like that. But I myself have also written a book, and I didn't write a book my own. I contributed to a book, like a couple of sections of a book, and that is some hard work, friends. So that, and even nowadays, people there's still a market for books, and ebooks especially, and it's one of those things that it's a lot of work, and I think it's worth recognizing and talking about it. So thank you, Chris, for that, and hope everybody can join on Friday.
Totally.
All right. Madalena, last post of the featured content is blog of the month for March as we get towards the end of it. And we got to have these decisions in by the end of the 1st of April. Looks like we've got 6 really good selections to choose from.
Yes, totally. And I expect you, once we finish this, to vote as well. I saw some good votes in there, a good amount already, since this was posted yesterday. That was Tuesday. So still plenty of time for the rest of you to vote. And let's give one of these guys a nice badge in there.
Yeah, and so Marcus's that we featured just today is up, as well as Scott's. Ooh, some tough ones. And then Tommy from last week with motorcycle. Oh boy, this is going to be a lot of good stuff. And Tommy, you might be thinking, this is my first blog. What are we talking about? No. This is just one of the things we do. We highlight the good and the best content and vote on it. So good stuff.
Yep.
All right. End of day, I guess that's Wednesday, April 1st. So a week from today. So TikTok.
I think it's Tuesday. Yeah. Basically, we're going to announce it on Wednesday. Yeah.
That's it.
So we might actually congratulate the winner in the recap. So
let's see. I'll be in California on the 2nd. So yeah, I could probably do.
Your normal circumstances?
Yeah, 6 a.m. I'm open. Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Who's New is back. And thank you, Safiomo, for preparing the Who's New. Plus 102. That rhymes. I'm a poet and I don't even know it. I don't have the time to make everything.
That's only 1 week, Rick.
Yeah, that's good. I wonder, did something happen? Did we we had the 2 France UGs, right?
Yeah.
But usually if they come from France, their last name is all caps, That's what they do. So there
are some caps in there.
Yeah.
But I also think we had some good virtual events last week. So it might have to do with the in-person events. It might have to do with the cybersecurity space because we had good attendance at that one. So yeah, everything together.
Cool names in here. I love this one. That field. That's funny. That's a cool one.
It's so small I can't even see
it. Sorry. I got the zoom going on. Back to that. But I think this one's funny. I think
that's a good one.
I'm gonna look that up.
Questing.
Yeah. And then I kind of like this one. It's just cool like that. That's cool.
Is that a phone number? I
don't know. Those are cool. They're just cool and funny. And then Claudio's doing some testing. I love it. Anderson this one must work with us. So anyways, I just love seeing these names. Big welcome everybody. 102 coolest usernames. Completely subjective pick by Sophia, and I don't even know what she's picked. Blaze Science, Omega Box, the Nomad IT, Loka Jabba. That's funny. Yummy Lee in that field. And oh boy, this is a good one. How do you do?
How do you do? That's a good one. I like it.
I like that.
Good job, Alfred.
You got a badge coming your way. Love it. All right, Madi. So I'll be in California next week. We'll figure out a way. I'm going to an analyst event. I'll see if I can do like a funky spot. Are you home next week? I don't remember.
I should be at home, yes, for another couple of weeks. Yes.
Okay. Until that thing. All right, everyone. Well, thank you, Madalena, for prepping all the content. Friends, truly, she does all the work. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
And everyone, thank you, Sophia, for Who's New. We will be back next week with 209. We'll see you then.